just going to turn proportional editing here. Sky has a kind of a square body, kind of a rectangular body like this. Hello, Zigzag. How are you doing? How is your Friday? I just wanted, I felt like changing things a bit, so it's Nemo Day. Yeah, it's Nemo Day today. Yeah, kind of felt like switching things a bit. I get bored very easily if I work on the same thing, so I'm switching out things so I don't get bored. I'm just trying to get the shape right here. Maybe something like that. Let me just look at the wireframe. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, something like that. I usually like to work with materials on while I'm looking at the materials to see how things are going to do. So let's first create a quick procedure material for the skin here. I'm just going to first get a texture coordinates, then add a separate convert math node, and also convert separate XY, Z, like so. I want to get, let's see, actually we can use UV maps. Just going to add a seam here, max seam, unwrap, if I use Shift N, and I can go to my UV editor, and I want to align this. Actually what I can do is first get rid of this side here, because we're going to be using a mirror modifier, so there is no reason for us to let's just use object mapping, I guess, instead of using UV mapping. So we can just use this, and I can add a sine wave here. I can use a sine wave here. So if I scale this up, you can see that we are getting the lines that we need, but they are too large. Let me first get back my reference image, and I think I can pin this so that even when we go to edit mode, okay, it doesn't seem to work. I wish there was a way to just pin this so that even when we are in edit mode, this one still shows this image. Yeah, I think that works like that. So I have these, so to make these lines repeat much, be a bit smaller, I can add a math node here. Let's see, change it to multiply. Actually, it has to be before the sine wave. Change it to multiply, and that way I can have these lines repeated like that. So I think we want something around here. Then we can add a color ramp around here.
The most natural sounding text-to-speech software on the market. Hey, I'm Joey, and I'm one of...
You can add a color ramp here and just play with the contrasts. I can change this to something like a constant because we want to create lines like that. I can add an extra line here, give this kind of a grayish color. So this one is going to be the orange, this one is going to be the black. So we have something like that, and I think we need to get rid of this, so I can either scale this up like that, Yeah, something like that. Then use this as the base color. Now for the scales, we can do something like, and if you look closely, these lines are also distorted a bit. So I can do, let me see. I can add, yeah, I'm going to rig it. Yes, hopefully, yeah. I think I can add a noise map. So texture, noise map, noise, texture noise map. And just, I think I can do another, before I separate this, I can add another separation here, and then add a convert math node here. Sorry, a convert combine XY. Just connect these, and I will have the same thing that we had before. But now that I have this, I think I can blend the Y a bit with a math node, with the noise map. So convert math, just add these two like this, and now I can have this connected to the Y, and hopefully that can in turn give us some jagged edges like what we have here. Yeah, exactly like that. I think we can come here and just reduce the size, increase the detail, maybe play with the roughness a bit. Yeah, just so we have some jagged lines like that. Okay, so let's continue modeling. We can create the fins. Just going to grab, let me first grab this a bit, grab the bottom part, extrude back like that. Let's make sure that's really thin here. Before I do that, let me just grab this, extrude, just make sure that it's really thin, really extremely thin like that. And I think I can grab an edge loop, pull it back like that, and then I can scale this up. Like this, add an extra edge loop, yes, scale it. Yes, do something like this. Maybe this is a bit too big, so I'm just going to scale this on the X like that. Hello, Rockstaguna. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I think this is something like that. You can see I'm using very few vertices. That makes it easy for me to control everything. Now let's work on the eyes a bit here. Now for the eyes, what I'm going to do is just select this portion and delete it, so that we can just utilize the mirror modifier to handle the other side. So just have this above the mirror, down on clipping, or above the subdivision, down on clipping, and now we should have something like this. Where are you actually from? I'm from Uganda. That's in East Africa. Let's make sure this is... Now let's work on the eyes here. So there are a few ways we can do here. The first one is, I think we can apply the subdivisions, just so we have enough resolution for the eyes. So I'm going to apply that, and then again, make sure, yeah, I'm going to apply that. Turn on wireframe. So for the eyes, I think let's first add the eye itself. It's just going to be a sphere, and it's going to be a sphere like that, and I can give it some material. So this is going to be the eyeball, I think. Eyeball. Just give it a very reflective material, like so. Then another material for the pupil. I think something like that. A sign. We can give it a brownish material. We can come back to this and make it as detailed as we can. But for now, just drag this in around there, and I'm going to use a mirror modifier here. So mirror. Select this as the mirror object, and you can see our fish needs to be a bit wider. So something like around there. Apply scale, which is going to affect our noise. So let me wait to apply that. So I'm just going to drag this like there. So our eyes are going to be positioned around there. So now we just have to go into edit mode and just make sure that we kind of have edge loops following this eye like that. So what I can do, you can just go into edit mode and bevel an edge into a circle like that. But I think a simpler way is just to trace out the eye with a few vertices directly. So you can just do add a loop here, add a loop here, add a loop here. Because what we want to end up with is a loop that goes around the eyes a bit. And yeah, so I can first hide this for a second. I'm just going to turn this into a single face, select everything, hit F like that, and just start kind of adding edge loops like this. Hello, can you make a hillside dawn scene with awesome lighting? I think I can do something like that. Do you mean like a mountain scene or like a large scale scene? Because I was planning to do something like that, because I rarely see any videos about that. So what I want is to end up with a loop that goes around the eye. So let's see where we are right now. I think I need to subdivide this. So I have a loop here. You can see right now the loop is coming is becoming realized. I just move this. Yeah, like just about to be in the morning when the sun is almost on the horizon. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. Usually what you need for those scenes is assets, so that you don't have to make everything from scratch. I don't know if I have the assets for that, but I will see. So I want this to be our eye. Just maybe connect this here. This could be a single face like that, or we can just have an edge loop that goes directly here. And then we don't need this edge loop. Love your stream, my guy. Thank you, Terence Mia. No problem, Ricky Ori. In the next stream, try to make a battleground scene with full of creative ideas and that you have. By the way, love from India. Thank you. Battleseed is quite it would be quite a big take on. You need a lot of characters. Yeah, so what I want is an edge loop, a complete edge loop here. Okay, so I think we would have to merge this here, this edge loop here, merge at the center like that, and have a complete loop that is for some reason not fully closed. Because of this here, this should be merged. Okay, so now that we have that, I can just use Shift Alt S to turn this into a sphere, to a kind of a perfect sphere. Just start sculpting this around the eye. I think we need an edge loop here. Let me grab this again. This can be extended to go somewhere like that. And I think this edge loop can continue like that. Let's see, have this somewhere here. So you can see we now have a complete loop like that. Makes it a bit easier to kind of add in details when you have complete edge loops like that. So we need this to be to kind of be the eyelid of our fish. Hi everybody, greetings from Ukraine. Have a nice day. Hi Roland Afari, how are you? Well, one of my favorite characters from Pixar movies. Yeah, it's a very popular character. Prasad Kunte. Nice name. Okay. And see, now I can push. You see this here, the nose comes out a bit. So we can do the same. I think we can add a subdivision surface. I can also turn on proportional editing just so we can help us pulling some of these out. You can also see that the eyelid kind of extends forward a bit, just a bit. Let's go to the front view, just a bit like that, I think. So let's do the same, push it forward a bit. Something like that. You see we get this kind of push out. I'm from India. Thank you. A lot of users from India. So how's your day going there? It seems like it wants to rain my side, but hopefully it doesn't, because I want to go out after this. Take a break. So it's going to push this out a bit, just a bit. And there is another eyelid inside there. So I think what we can do, let me first turn off subdivision, add a loop inside there, turn off subdivision, so just push it out. Maybe let's push it, see, scale it up a bit. I see how you can make it hug the eye a bit better like that. So just push it out like that, so that is kind of hugging the eye a bit better. I think this one might be around down there. And there is way too much gap between here, between the eyes. So I'm just going to grab an edge loop here, turn on proportional editing, and just push it in a bit like that. I can also have to do this for the eye as well. So we have something like that. Also going to grab this edge, push it out a bit so that we have a ring like that. Now I have this vertex that kind of has a lot of edge loops. You never really want to have a vertex to have more than, I think, 4 connected edges. I am wondering, you're going to texture paint it or do procedural textures? So I've already started on the texturing, and you can see we're using procedural textures. I just started with an object texture coordinate, separated the y coordinate. If you are interested, you can go back a few minutes and you see how we did the texturing, but it's procedure. We use the sine wave to create a repeating pattern. I think I need to scale this down a bit so we don't have, something like that. So the texturing is procedure. We are going to come back to it and make it even more detailed, but for now this is what we are going to do, and maybe we're going to do a mix of the two. We can do a mix of the two. So I want the eyes to look to the camera like this, but when I rotate this, the other one rotates to the opposite direction. So what I can do is add, I think it won't work like that, but let me see. I think we can come back to that later, but for now I would have to use an array. Let me see, I'm trying to think of a way to rig these eyes so that they look the opposite direction. They look in the same direction, and the mirror modifier doesn't really do that. We would have to duplicate this as an instant, and to have this mirrored, all I have to do is just have the cursor centered there, and then Alt D, cursor selected, and then Control M, mirror on the X. Now I can add, say, an empty. Object constraints. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of, I think, as well. So, but I'm also debating because I will need to rig this character. So adding separate constraints to the eye might, we might have to change this. So we're going to need a track 2 for this, not for the empty, but for the eye. Track 2 constraint, and select Burning Bright. You seem to know your way with Blender quite a lot. You must be very experienced. Let's see, target Z, and let me see where this eye is looking right now. Okay, so we need to flip the angle of this, maybe use a positive value. So now you can see when I move this, it does the same. So I can also do Control L to link constraints? I think it's Control Shift C. Is it? Let me see. Object, copy constraints, copy constraints, yeah. Object, constraints, copy constraint to selected object, and now I can move this. But I think I need, let me first center this. We can come back to the eyes a little bit later, because you can see right now, if I move this too far, then this eye is going to be looking inside. For now, we can just get rid of the constraints and just do this manually like that. Control L. Control L doesn't have the constraint. Nice, nice, nice. But I don't think I've done a lot of constraint video tutorials burning bright. So yeah, you must be experienced with Blender. So let's work on the smile. And I think for the smile, if you look closely, let's get, I think we can have, so we have this eye loop here. Excuse my drawing. Let me see if I can get a better circle here. So we have this kind of loops going on like that. Now, I think to make a better smile, we need loops going in. So we would have this as the middle seam. We can have, let's see, let's first create the shape of the mouth. So that means we might need a continuous edge loop around the mouth like this, and these edge loops would follow in this kind of shape. And now we are remaining with an end gun here, so to divide that, I think we need to have this kind of shape here. Now then we have this end gun, which might reduce by adding a loop like that. So then we can have loops going like this. But we don't need that much resolution. There is a bit of that might, hello? Huh? I'm not sure. Okay. There should be a limit constraint. That's something I didn't think of. I think yeah, that would work. But let's first do the modeling. So we want to have kind of a mouth, a smile here. So what I'm going to do is just first draw the smile that I want. So see, I don't want a lot of resolution, and I don't want the mouth to be too big, so let's have something like that. Now that means we are going to need a cut here. So this will be connected to that, this connected to that, and maybe that extends there like that. And for the bottom part here, let me first get rid of these edge loops because we can simply insert, get rid of this, make sure face, push it forward just a bit for the lip bump, maybe push this in, and then extrude in a bit like so. And to have that kind of smile, we can bring this loop outward a bit. You can see the mouth is too large, so it's going to select these faces. Great use of the notation feature. Thank you. It looks like Spider-Man now. I think that's what it was meant to do. Kind of easily check out how the topology is going to work. It has a small bump in the nose there, so let's try to create it as well. There. Yes. Bring in these edge loops. I think we might need an edge loop here. So let's add that in. And we can continue to pull this forward a bit. And there may be, you can even try using the sculpt tool to kind of smoothen these details a bit in some areas. Let's go back here to the object. I think at the mouth, our mouth is a bit far from the eyes, which is not the case for the reference. So I'm just going to grab this, maybe rotate it, just try bringing it up a bit. Now it's kind of intersecting with these other edge loops that we have. I too mostly prefer modeling over sculpting because I mostly create low poly and subdivisions modifier. Yeah, sculpting is, I don't know, seems like a lot of work to me. I think I can get rid of this edge loop. I guess if you're used to it, it becomes a bit faster because you kind of have more precision control than modeling. The reason I didn't get into sculpting is that it kind of seems like it also requires a lot of setup. I have a tablet. I think I bought it 2 years ago, and I've only used it 3 or 4 times because you need to do a lot of setup. Okay, one other thing I'm realizing is that the bottom here is quite large. Hello, Atharav, yeah, Athava, yeah, Dav. Sorry for butchering your name. Yes, grab these edge loops, bring them a bit up, because this bottom part seems to be a bit wide. Good morning to you too. How is everything? Okay. So now we can extend and bring back the subdivision. Can extend. Are you the owner of this channel? Yeah, I am. I am. Okay, just push this out. I think I can also push this out again. The base feels a lot flatter. I mean, it's supposed to be a bit rounded. Then of proportional editing, just something like that. Love this channel. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Thank you. Okay, so you want it to be rounded more, maybe something like that. Maybe it seems flatter because I think this is too triangular maybe as well. So let me push that out like something like that. Okay. I'm from Uganda. That's in East Africa. Turn on proportional editing. Just push this. And maybe kind of push this a bit. Hello, Screen Duck. I'm nearing 30. I think I'm 29. Grab this. So I want a complete edge loop that goes around here, around to the bottom. So actually I'm okay with it just extending to the back there. So let's try to push this forward, and then maybe this back a bit. I thought you were living in the US right now. No, I'm not. You are really good. How long have you been doing this? I've been doing this for a while, maybe like 10 years, but not consistently. Especially when I was in school, I wasn't doing any of this. He seems happy too, yeah. He is. I think this is before he got lost. So, or maybe after he was found. So I think we can do something like this. And just push this back, way back there. And let's scale this up. Let's see. We legit test at the same time. Yeah. Which software you use? Blender, of course, man. Blender. So let's see. I like the smile. And I think it's coming out looking good. Let's go back to the texturing and maybe add some scales here. So for the scales, we can use a texture, Voronoi texture. For editing, I use mostly Premiere Pro. Just going to use object mapping for this. How come you don't get into game dev? I want to, but game dev is quite a lot of work. You need to have a lot of assets, and after that, you also need to figure out where you want to sell, where you're going to sell your models. So it's not exactly that easy. Are you a full-time YouTuber? I guess it depends how you define full-time. But I guess I could say I'm a full-time Blender more than I'm a full-time YouTuber. Because I don't think I'm a full-time anything, because I also do other things. So basically what I do, when I get tired of Blender, I jump into programming. When I get tired of programming, I do web design, which is not exactly the same, but nearly the same. Love to interview you for my podcast. Nice. You can send me a Discord link and see what we can do. A full-time, not like actually make the game using your objects as the assets of the game. The assets are what make the game, and behind is just the logic. You already got that one part. Yeah, making the game is not that hard. But getting people to play it is the hardest part, which I haven't figured out. So you need to figure out where you're going to sell the game. The selling part is the hardest part, I think. And even when you have the assets, actually, I don't have the assets like you suggested. What I have are assets that are Blender assets, and Blender doesn't have a game engine, so I would have to convert these assets into a compatible format that is readable to the asset to the game engine I might want to use. So for example, if I choose to use Unreal Engine, I would have to make my assets, export my assets into an format that Unreal Engine kind of reads, which means I need to export this into FBX, which my models most of my models have been exported to FBX, but the materials are not really converted, so I would have to bake all the assets. And even the assets I have are not really enough for a video game because they are all over the place. Let me... Steam? Yeah, I haven't really